In August, I made $1,600. In September, I made $9,789. In October, I made $9,211.
Today's video is sponsored by just two things, one of which is Linus the Ween, the cutest dapple dachshund your eyes have ever seen. If you don't know, then figure it out. Number two is my paintings. Not that I want you to buy my paintings. I just want you to look at it and say, hey, good job for doing something that actually brings you joy. That's all I want. That's all I want. I just want people to come on here and tell me that they're happy that I'm actually doing the things that I enjoy. Anyways, I'm a sucker for nostalgia. Goodness gracious, I'm a sucker for nostalgia. I'm the person who will go onto TikTok, watch the YouTube shorts that are all like class in 1995. And it's just like a bunch of like clips about things from 1995 in class. You know what I mean? I'm a huge sucker for nostalgia. I love my childhood. There were some things about it that was rough, but ultimately it was amazing, right? But there's one thing that when I look back at that part of my childhood and I start to think about what it's like for people now, that kind of makes me upset. It makes me worried. It's the job market and what it is turning into. And it seems like there's some sketchy things going on. That like there's so many jobs posted all over the place, and yet people aren't like getting those jobs.
But are we just being actively replaced by AI or robots? Because I don't understand how this many employers are looking for jobs, but this many employers are hiring.
Yes, you are being replaced by AI. 110% you're being replaced by AI. My mom is a case manager. Actually, my mom's, she's retired now, but she was a case manager for a hospital. Her whole department was downsizing because of AI. You are losing your jobs because of AI. 110%. Yes.
I'm overqualified for half the jobs I'm applying to. What do you mean you need 3+ years of experience to go to an entry-level position? Where do you expect anyone to learn these entry-level position jobs if you're not giving people the opportunity to gain experience in entry-level position jobs? It just doesn't make sense to me, and I feel like somewhere along the way from COVID, we forgot that we can actually teach people how to do jobs. Like, if you hire someone with little to no experience, you can just train them. Like, I feel like employers are not giving employees enough credit for the things up here, brains.
Yeah.
We can learn. We can do things.
Absolutely.
Just tell me why I have a...
That's how you used to be able to do it. But I'm sorry for laughing. I'm laughing a lot. I'm smiling a lot. But it is because it's like, it's too true. It's too true. Like even myself, right? I'm a teacher. Sometimes every once in a while, I entertain the idea of leaving the field of teaching, right? We can make a whole nother video as to why. But when I go on and I look at the job postings, it's hilarious to me how even for example, an associate planner 1, right? That's, somebody who works for probably local government and helps, plan the city and all of that. They still require 3 years of experience. That's an entry-level position that you get right out of college. Where's the 3 years of experience coming from? Because even if you try to use your internship as the experience, I can guarantee you that it wasn't a 3-year internship. If somebody's working a 3-year internship and not getting paid whatsoever in that internship, what is going on? But that's also kind of the way that the world works right now. There's this thing about like free labor. Both myself as like a teacher, when you go into your student teaching, eventually you take over that class basically like 110%, right? And you are at the school just as much as the regular teacher, if not longer. And then after classes, or after the school day, then you go to your college classes at night, all while not getting paid a single cent. At least that's the way that it works in California. I got a buddy right now who is becoming a PTA, and he's going through his whole rotations right now too, where he is literally working 40 hours a week as a PTA, but it's an internship and he ain't making no money at all. That's sad. Job hunting in 2025. What should you have to say?
Is anyone else applying to jobs and going through the exact same thing? A job posted this week, over 100 applicants. Posted 5 hours ago, over 100 applicants. Okay, this is crazy. 1 hour ago, over 100 applicants. I actually feel like applying on LinkedIn and Indeed is dead. Well, it's alive. You'll just be applying against thousands of people. In 2025, I think I'm just going to be prioritizing networking, meeting people in person.
If you have had success getting a job through Indeed or LinkedIn, let us know in the comments down below, because I am really curious about that. Because even I remember like when I first got my teacher's credential and going on to Indeed, and I remember like applying for a couple of jobs, and then all of a sudden I got all these spam emails, like advertisements, and I was like, immediately right then and there, I was like, oh, and Indeed is a scam, and Indeed isn't actually trying to help you get money. Indeed is making money somehow off of giving you the hope that you'll get a job and make some money, right? It's gotta be something. Oh man. But yeah, so let us know if you got a job off of Indeed. I just wanted to watch that one there. That was good stuff. We gotta see the beginning.
I done applied to so many motherfucking jobs, I don't know who the fuck calling me at this point. At the end of my interview today, the guy said, "Do you have any questions?" Sir, I don't even know who the fuck this is. I could have applied to be a receptionist for God. I wouldn't even know. Hotline for heaven, where the going gets tough, hell will burn you up. How can I help you?
I keep seeing a lot of comments on...
Hey, he's one of the 100. He's one of the 100 that applied an hour after it was posted, and it seems so true. You apply for these jobs that apparently seem readily available. They're all over the place. Everybody's apparently hiring. Like when you go on to Indeed, when you go on to these things, it never seems like they're not hiring. So anyways, I was doing my research, and I was scrolling through, and I was trying to find why this is the case. Here's what I found. Listen to this guy. This is going to upset some people. It upset me. It's going to upset you, probably.
My post and other posts that says the job market is great because everywhere is hiring. That's a lie. As the hiring manager for my work, we are required to put those now hiring signs out whether we are hiring or not. And it is because the corporations, the big huge umbrella, get a tax break whenever they're constantly hiring. Because if they are always hiring, then that means that they're never filling their hired quota, which means that they need a tax break because they can't fill their slots. I know this because we are, again, required to have the now hiring sign on our door at all times. And we haven't been hiring or had a position to hire for in like 6 to 8 months. I currently have over 300 applications of people applying because they think we're hiring, and I can't do anything with them. So when you see comments about, don't worry, there's 17 million jobs available, and if you get laid off of a job, you can get another one, and then the job market's not that bad, it's all bullshit. It's all a lie. Because the large corporations get tax cuts when they are hiring. Now, again, this is usually like larger corporations with hundreds of locations nationwide. Mm-hmm. So if you see a small town shop that's only in your store that has a now hiring sign, that is probably legitimate. But if you go into like a big fast food place or a big retail store and it says now hiring, the chances of them actually hiring are very, very...
I feel like I'm being gaslit by America.
Well, there you have it. It's all a lie. It's all some kind of big scam. Another way to give the big corporations a bunch of money to fill up their pockets. Apparently, they're not actually even hiring. I guess that answered the question for me. Why is there all these companies that say that they're hiring? You get 100 applicants within 1 hour. This guy has 300 applicants, but they're not hiring. Well, because you get a tax break. Who doesn't want a tax break? You know who would love a tax break is the working class citizens in the United States. That's too real, though. Too real.
I feel like I'm being gaslit by America. America is telling me that there's so many jobs abundant, and I've been applying for 2 years. I graduated 2 years ago with a degree in marketing, and I have not been able to find a job. Where are they? Like, if you have a job right now, how'd you get it? And was it like nepotism? Like, were you handed the job? Like, I have no idea how people are.
I'm currently a teacher. I got my degree because I went to school for environmental geography. And then I went and got my teacher's credential. And then I applied. And no, it wasn't nepotism, but I will tell you this. As somebody who has no other teachers in my family, and I don't have any friends that were teachers, and even though I worked for a school district prior to getting my teacher's credential for 5 years, it was incredibly difficult for me to get a teaching position. And then I had these people who were in the credential program with me. God love them. I love them. They're great, right? But they have, parents, family members who are teachers. They've been in that world, and they get hired right away. Thank goodness my principal, my original principal, I love the man. Best principal I've ever had in my entire life. Thank you to him for giving me a position, because it was literally about 3 days before the school started. I applied to every single district within probably a 25 to 30 mile radius of my house. And I got one call back for an interview, and he gave me the position. Love that, man. That's how I became a teacher. But man, the reason why everybody wants, or the reason why you can still get hired as a teacher, is because teaching is hard, right? Anyways, here's this this woman, this lady. That's how she identifies. I'm not sure, but here's her talking about what I've talked about before on this channel, of how you were told to go get good grades, go to college, get a degree, so that way you can get a job that pays well, you can buy a home, take care of yourself, all of that type of stuff. But that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. There are so many people out there with degrees that cannot get a good paying job. And here's, to me, it doesn't actually feel like rocket science to figure out why this is the case. Here's the reason being, right? Our parents' generation. I'm a millennial. I'm 33 years old, about to turn 34 this month. Our parents' generation, a good population of them did not have bachelor's degrees. And the ones that did have bachelor's degrees were making more money and had a better livelihood, I would assume, had a better job than those who didn't. So, our parents grew up thinking to themselves, we got to tell our kids to go get a bachelor's degree so that way they can make it in life and all of this stuff. Okay? So then all these 90s babies get bachelor's degrees. I would have to look up the statistics here, but I'm assuming that a large portion of millennials have a bachelor's degree in comparison to their parents' generation. I would assume that it's a significant amount more. Somebody fact check me on it. You can roast me in the comments if I'm completely wrong. I would bet money that I'm right, though. And then everybody has it. So then now what's the next thing that makes you competitive? I don't know. It was I genuinely don't know the answer. Is the question.
Getting jobs, honest to God. I get ghosted by companies left and right. They say that the dating world right now is crazy with ghosting. Hell no. Have you tried finding a job in 2025? You get ghosted left and right. I did a 2-part interview with a company that ended up ghosting me. I followed up with them 3 separate times to hear nothing back. No, hey, you could have worked on this, or no, you didn't get the job. Nothing. And I was so excited. I was very confident I got the job, but yeah. So, lesson learned, if you have a job right now, do not leave it. If you just graduated, good luck, unless someone. I've even gone the referral process. So I don't really know actually. Yeah, I'm looking for any advice.
Yeah, I stumbled upon this whole trend of people talking about how difficult the job market is and everything like that. Right? I stumbled upon this because, again, I've talked about this. Every once in a while, I'm entertaining the idea of leaving the field of teaching. But let me tell you, I'm a tenured teacher. I'm a tenured teacher. Pretty much guarantees me a position within my district for my entire life, unless I screw up in some big kind of way, or unless something goes wrong with the government or something like that, right? And going through going through and seeing all these hardships that people are having, I'm thinking to myself, I think I might be an idiot if I quit my job, if I give up my tenure. I think I might be dumb if I do that, considering everything I'm seeing. You know what, though? I will do a video in the future where I react to people who have left the field of teaching, and my gosh, they seem happy. I had a coworker, actually, who left teaching. They went to go work at Target. I saw them at my local Target. They weren't working like some kind of high up position or anything like that. They were just at Target. I kid you not. It looked like they were carrying around 100 less pounds. And I'm not talking about like their actual physical weight. I'm talking about 100 pounds of mental weight and fatigue. They looked so lighthearted. They looked so happy. That's another tangent. That's another video. One thing, though, I always love to do is have a balance of opinions. It's never good if you're only getting your information from people who have the same exact idea and opinion as you, right? There are going to be people in the comments on this video that talk about how the job market actually isn't that hard right now. And people are just being lazy, or they're being picky, or whatever it is. That, you know what I mean? There's going to be differing opinions. What I'm trying to say is we got to have multiple perspectives on this channel. So here's a different perspective.
To competently deal with the problems that we face.
The job market doesn't suck as much as you think it is. You need to get off of TikTok, and you need to get off of Indeed. And then what I want you to do is I want you to find some certifications. Doesn't matter what the certifications are, but go ahead and take them. I don't care if it's free certifications off of like Google or Coursera or wherever you can find them. Just take them. Take as many certifications as you can, and keep applying for jobs. Keep applying. Try to stay away from Indeed. And your parents weren't wrong when they told you you can go into a business and hand them a resume, and odds are that's going to stick in their brain a little bit better than if you apply online and just fill in
How
questions.
expensive are certifications?
That is what has always worked for me. I will go into a business, or I'll call a business and ask them, hey, what jobs do you have right now? Hey, this is my experience. This is what I'm able to do. What can you all do for me?
I think that's good advice.
Are there any openings coming up in the future? Are there any openings that could be open right now? Just go talk to people and believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Seriously, you've got this.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
Okay, so I live in...
Hey, kudos. Different perspective here. And I'm not going to say that I'm not going to say that he's completely wrong. I don't think that he is. I think that it does make a huge difference if you actually go into an organization, go into a business, especially if it's a local business, okay? Nordstrom, that's not local. Macy's, like any kind of like store that's going to be at a mall or something like that, it's probably not a local business. But if you go into a local business, shake their hand, meet the owner, then maybe it's going to be easier for you to get those positions. I do think that he has a point there, okay? With the certifications, I would love to have some specifics. If you guys know some specifics, leave them down in the comments down below. In my opinion, what I have searched up in the past is that the certifications that are higher paying certifications are still expensive programs in order to get those things. So just one, for an example, like I remember being younger while I was an EMT. That's what I did straight out of high school. I was an EMT, and I went and I was looking around for phlebotomy certifications, right? Where they draw your blood and all of that. You know what I mean? But those programs were still at least to $10,000, and that was $10,000 back then. How much are they now? How much is a phlebotomy certification now? And a lot of other certifications too that you have to, it's hard to get that certification while working at the same time. What I heard.
Washington, D.C. area.
But again, I'm not ripping on the guy. The guy definitely has a point, and I do think that there is a balance. There is a definite balance between hard work, trying to set yourself up for success, in comparison to just doing nothing and hoping that something falls in your lap.
Now I've been living here for almost 2 years, which is crazy to say. I moved here like right after I graduated college. I was working at a nonprofit for like a year. I got laid off last year in May, and I've been looking for a job ever since. So May 2024, it's now February 2025. This job hunt, I think, has been the most dehumanizing experience I have ever had in my life. I think I've applied to probably like 500, 600 jobs, and probably even more than that, honestly. I don't even know how many jobs I've applied to, and I just don't understand, like, what am I missing? I have a degree. I've double majored. I had 3 internships in college. I have a year's worth of experience. I, had a good GPA. Like, what am I doing wrong? And also with, Elon and Donald, laying off a bunch of government workers, and I live in the DC area, I'm competing with them now. So I'm just lost. I would love any suggestions, tips. I'm over it.
So this guy is super overqualified, and he still can't get a position. And I remember the reason why I saved this video is because he brings up a very good point about feeling dehumanized. How that is true. How dehumanizing is it to continuously apply for jobs? You never see these people face to face a lot of the times, and you don't get a call back. And gosh, that has to be just the crappiest feeling. You know what I mean? So again, considering what the other guy said, hey, maybe to help, maybe you're not going to get a job, but maybe just for your own humanity's sake, go in and shake somebody's hand and ask them if they got a job or have a job for you. Maybe they'll say no, but maybe that face-to-face interaction, rather than just doing everything digital and they have no idea who you are, maybe that would be good. I don't know. Not sure if you guys saw it or not, but people were posting a while ago how much they were making on TikTok. And man, it's crazy. This lady, girl right here, she's also a teacher. But listen to how much money she makes on TikTok. And then maybe we could talk about whether or not being a content creator is a viable option if you're trying to find a job. Like becoming a content creator, here's one thing. I'm going to say it even before I watched it, or before we watch this right now. I really do think that being a content creator, that it is easier to start making some money. Not livable wage, but easier to start making some money as a content creator than it is to get a lot of jobs these days.
I made from TikTok in each month of 2024.
How much money she made in each month on
For
TikTok.
reference, I have almost 300,000 followers, and I better hit 300,000 followers before this ban goes through.
Almost 300,000 followers, but that's a small following. She says it's a small following. 300,000 is not a small following. What is she talking about?
But I get a lot of questions on this, and I figure since this app might get banned, I might as well share. I'm a little neurotic about tracking my income, and I like to do it all on paper. So that's why everything's here. In January, I made $11,700. In February, my account was hacked, but I still made $2,271. In March, I made $6,307. In April, I made $4,626. In May, I made $4,229. In June, I made $9,941. In July, I made $5,800. In August, I made $1,600. In September, I made $9,789. In October, I made $9,211. In November, I made $7,540. And in December, I made $4,190. So yeah, if this app goes for real, I'm going to be a little sad, a little broke.
I don't know her financial situation. I don't know what district she works for. But I can tell you this. The majority of those months that she made money on TikTok, she was getting paid more than she would have if she worked for my district. Making TikTok videos, making TikTok videos of 1 minute long TikTok videos is crazy. Oh my gosh, it's wild. It's wild, man. No wonder why so many people are like so concerned about TikTok getting banned. You know what I mean? They're making bogo bucks. What's the phrase? I forget. They're making a lot of money. That wasn't insignificant. That was not insignificant. Let me say this too. I have a TikTok account that has like 15,000 followers on it. Right, I'm part of the creator rewards program. I've made a penny, a whole penny. I'm not kidding you. I'll show you sometime. I made a whole penny. I made a little bit more off of the like affiliate thing that they have and whatnot. You know, doing like guitar stuff, guitar products on it. But man, she making more money off of TikTok than she is probably teaching. Granted, she's gonna have to pay taxes, right? Then, you know, all that income is gonna be taxable and all of that. But hey, so maybe being a influencer is it's a viable career option these days. You know, I did try to find some statistics here. Let's pull them up. Hold on. Oh, this was just a funny video. 1.4 million Americans are apparently on OF. Let that soak in for a second. And yet we still have 100 applicants after an hour of something being posted for a job. You know what I mean? Okay. Anyways, hold on. I have it in here somewhere. I hope that I have it in here. Here we go. This is what I want to talk about. Okay. Roughly 12 million people. This is Google right here. You can see the exact question I typed above. Do people still type in like full exact questions? I'm not sure, but here's what I said. Here's what Google said to me when I asked how many people do content creation in the U.S. Roughly 12 million people in the U.S. work full-time as a content creator, according to the Wall Street Journal article. This figure is based on a study by the Keller Advisor Group. Okay, now here's the thing. In total, there are about 27 million paid content creators in the U.S. Based off of that last video that I just showed you real quickly, we didn't watch it, right? But of those 27 million, 1.4 million of them are on OF. Is it counting that? I'm not sure. Or do we need to add 28.5 million, you know? Which is 14% of people aged 16 to 54. It ain't just for the young bucks. Not just for the young bucks. Of those 27 million, 44% work full-time, 32% work part-time, and 24% consider it a hobby. That's where I'm at this point. This is pretty much a hobby for me. I have had other content creation things that were making me some money, and I tried to treat them, more like a business, but it wasn't fun. And I'm trying to get back to fun. That's why we're being theatrical. I'm trying to show you a bit more of my personality on this video. So it's actually much more entertaining and fun for me in comparison to just like sitting down. And when I'm sitting down and I'm calm and stuff, that is my true self. Man, I like to show who I am, you know? All aspects of me. Sometimes it's going to be calm. Sometimes it's going to be like this. Maybe it will always be like this. I don't know. I'm thinking way too much. The creator economy is the fastest growing small business segment. The creator economy includes people who sell subscriptions, solicit tips, partner with brands, and more. The creator economy has upended the advertising world with more marketing dollars going to the creator sponsorships. So, being a content creator, maybe it's the thing to do. I have nieces and nephews. You guys know about this. One of them is a senior in high school. I'm always telling them, like, hey, you know what? If I were you, dude, not that I wouldn't focus on other career options, right? I would still focus on some other career options. But in the meantime, it doesn't take that long to make a little 1-minute video. That's what I would do. Because apparently it pays. We saw how it pays. Right? And then, the other things here that we learned from this video, some takeaways is, hey, go in. And even if you're not going to end up getting a job from it, maybe it will make you feel a little bit more human if you go into a local shop. Maybe you don't even want the job. But you want to feel more like a human. Go in, shake somebody's hand. Say, hey, here's my resume. This is my name. You got a job for me? Oh man, I had fun with this one. If you stuck around, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.